We're going to be doing a pumpkin drawing on this toned paper using black and white charcoal. You probably want to get a reference image. Black and white images are good because you can really see those values. You could find one on the internet or take a picture or set up a little still life. This is what we did for practice. We did a gradient scale with our white and our black charcoal, leaving some area in the middle where our plain toned paper is showing. And these are the materials we're going to be using. The toned paper, we have just the white charcoal, and we have this this form instead of the pencil. We have 2 charcoal pencils. I have a 2B, which is a medium, and the 6B, which is a soft. So the soft, that 6B, is going to make the darkest values, although the 2B is pretty dark. We have some blending stumps. I've got one that we're going to use with the black charcoal and one with the white charcoal, so we don't want to mix those up because those they're so different. The values are so different. And then this is a kneaded eraser that we can use to take up any charcoal that we want to fix. If it's gotten too dark, you can just stretch it and that kind of cleans it off, and you can mold the end so that you have almost like a little pencil that can pick that charcoal up. And just a regular pencil that we'll use to draw, because that charcoal pencil is really dark. We don't want those really dark lines. So I'm going to look at this reference photo here, and I'm looking at this little pumpkin, and I'm first just looking at the shapes that I see. Later I'm going to be looking at the values. So we're just going to be drawing one in this video. So I'm going to start by drawing a really light shape for this whole area of my pumpkin here. Just the main part of it without the stem. Just really lightly. Okay. And then I really want to look at these shapes, these folds in the pumpkin. So they're kind of like big ovals that kind of all come out from this center where the stem is. So I'm going to start here. Keep it pretty light. So I know my stem is going to be about right here. I'm going to go ahead actually and draw that. Okay, and then I've got these other oval shapes kind of coming out from that center, down and back in here. Check and make sure everything is the way you want it before you move on. You may want to fix a few things. The thing about pumpkins, though, is that they're all a little bit different. Some of them might be slightly kind of funny shaped, so it's okay if you don't draw yours just like the one you see. Okay, so I'm going to look now at these different values. So I'm noticing the light is coming from the left side. This is going to be the lightest part of my pumpkin. I've got some darker values over here, and then down in the creases on the stem, this left side is the lighter side, and on the right side I've got some darker values. And then I have these little vertical lines in the stem, and then I have a little white spot on the top there. So I want to look at all those values, and then I'm noticing that down here I've got a really dark value underneath the pumpkin, and then a little bit of the cast shadow on the table there. So I'm going to start with my white, I'm going to find the very lightest areas that I want to add some white to. I'm trying to do a quick one for the video, but you always take your time really looking for those values, laying them down carefully. So what we want to avoid is having white and black charcoal built up in any area. You're either gonna be using the white or you're gonna be using the black, but you're not gonna be using both of them on any of those areas. So it'll just make your paper kind of look gray. You can actually blow some of that off if you need to. All right, so those are my lightest values. I'm going to use the 2B now, so my medium, and I'm going to put in some of those darker values. Be a little bit careful because it is very dark. You may want to use hatching lines going in the direction of the curve of your pumpkin.
Pardon the interruptions. Ethan Love, please report to the main office.
Okay, so we'll use our blending stump now. I would not blend the white in the very lightest places because it'll just kind of dull it a little bit. So where you want it to be the very lightest, you may just want to leave those alone. But if you have some areas that you don't want to be quite so white, go back in with that blending stump and blend that a little bit. Just kind of make it more of a medium value. Try not to get any of that black charcoal on the white blending stumps. You want to keep those separate. All right. And then your black one. This really helps to smooth out the values. Try to be careful where you're putting your hand. You don't want to get too much of that charcoal on your hand and smear it all over your paper. And it's best if you're unsure to start off lighter. You can always go back in the darken areas, but it is a little hard to lighten them up. Now, if you do see areas that are too dark, you can try to use that kneaded eraser and go back and pick up some of that charcoal. You actually can even use your fingers with this. You just might want a little paper towel to clean them off. So again, if you see some areas where you've got your charcoal a little bit too dark, try to go back in and pick it up with your kneaded eraser. Okay. Now, for your really dark areas, you may want to get that soft 6B and add your darkest values. So maybe right underneath your pumpkin. Maybe in some of those creases just right down near the bottom. Use my medium, my 6B. Or 2B. Just lightly do some of this cast shadow. Now for your still life, you may want, or your drawing, you may want to do more of a still life where you have several pumpkins. You know, we talked about how to draw still lifes and how to make things look like they are in front of others by using the overlapping and the placement on the paper. So think about those things when you're doing your drawing. So those are the basic things you need to know about how to draw on toned paper with black and white charcoal.